I can't lose! SSL, here I come! Wait. There's no way. Oh, shit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is comeback time. Welcome to the video, guys. I was one game from GC3, and then I lost it all. I touched grass, I went outside, I lost my abilities. Family vacation. It is what it is. Amigos, how the fudge you doing? It's HYD. I'm back. It's been a while. To break it down for you guys, I suck at the game. I am major ass dog water at the game right now. Because I now suck at the game, and I might have always sucked at the game, to be honest, I've enlisted the services of perhaps the best Rocket League coach on the planet, Zector.
Nobody can sit. Look me in my eyes. Look me in my eyes and tell me that air rule is practical. You can't. You can't.
Zector is the guy who said Zen wasn't that good, and he roasts a lot of pros. Not only has he said in his videos that Zen isn't that good, but he's also said other world champions are not that good. So yeah, I had this brilliant thought. Why don't I get this guy to analyze my terrible GC2 gameplay, or GC1 now. Let's see what he says. If Zen isn't good, then what am I? I'm scared. Disclaimer, Zector told me to play a few games before a session. He told me to send my best game from that session.
I'm ready. Who are we looking at here?
I'm Dot. I'm the lightning strike one. Thunderbolt.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
That's horrendous. What is that?
This does not go hard, I'm not gonna lie.
Even that,
what is this?
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's clean.
That's okay.
But orange on the blue team, I don't know. That's clean. Come on.
Oh, this does. No, it's clean.
That's
clean. No, it's clean. I like it.
Stocktain.
All right, let's get in here. If you have any disagreements, any questions, want to point something out, please do. Sure. I probably will be talking a lot.
Go savage on me, bro. Don't hold back.
Oh, don't worry, brother.
Let's try to leave him in the mid boost there. Yeah. It's like that's the passive first one I'm talking about.
Okay, what's the thought process here? Let's go into our head. I'll play it one more time.
Okay. My thought process is my teammate's rotating behind me, and I'm trying to force the ball to him while bumping this guy. Because I feel like there's no need to challenge there, because if I challenge, the ball might spill out in a way that favors the guy behind. Maybe I'll get bumped in the challenge, or I have a poor recovery. I just try to stay in the. I try to maximize the amount of time I'm in the play. That's it.
Okay. A couple of things. First of all, I feel like we're being too reliant on making strategy based off of what ifs and like, what if I make a mistake here? You have to be confident, right? We have to have a base in confidence in every single thing that we do. So first of all, where is your teammate right now, and where is he facing? Is he facing in, or is he facing out from the play right now?
I probably should have looked where he was.
Yeah, that is information that you should know. You're telling me I want to force for my teammate, but you can't tell me where your teammate is and where they're facing. That's a big problem, right? Mm-hmm. If you should already know coming into this situation, how long has my teammate been out? Did my teammate grab this boost? Is he facing in? Is he in a position where if I force this, it's going to be good for my teammate? Let's look at your teammate. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. You could force it back to your teammate, but you're still going to be losing field progression. You're still going to be on the defensive because he's not in a position to actually force. Now, granted, this is his fault, but this is also partially your fault. Now, let's look at the situation. Let's go back forward, okay? The way that I look at this, in this situation, you're completely in the right here. There's nothing wrong with this. Honestly, what I would have done in this situation, just face him head on.
Okay.
Just face him head on. As soon as we make this turn, I actually like all that you're doing here, playing this slow, playing this space. This is good. We want presence here. I like this a lot. But this turn, because look.
Yeah, I was trying to cut into the boost to scare him, but it's better. You're right. It's better to face him. The boost is not as threatening.
Yeah.
As the face.
Yeah. No. You could have just literally, like, if I was in a position, I'm challenging right here because I have full boost and I have a teammate back with full boost, right? So just because you have a teammate doesn't mean you have to force for your teammate, because you want to create offensive options for yourself as well, right? And we can't be scared of what if this and this, if we have a support back with full boost and we have full boost ourselves. What you're doing makes more sense if we're sitting more in like the 12-20 territory with our boost amount, right? But if you have this much boost, you shouldn't really worry too much about recovery. You're going to be able to recover.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And if I do win a challenge, it turns into a 1v2 because my teammate's rotating into mid, sort of. Because he's gonna be flipping towards our half, and we're gonna be facing the ball. Yeah.
Yes. So you can help your teammate in multiple ways. Just getting your teammate the ball doesn't, that could help, but also setting your teammate up to be able to get into good positions and get field progression is also good. So we need to look at both sides of it, okay?
Yeah.
If you are able to make that offensive play, you should strive to do so. You should only do this if that is not possible, but it is here, and therefore you should look to do so, okay? Until it's just not possible, right? So that's one big thing already. We do end up flicking here, which is good.
I was trying to bump there at the end, yeah.
I like this, giving a little bit of distance here. That's fine.
See, I don't think that's too threatening because I'm there, I'm goal side.
Yeah. I mean, this is like this. They're pushing the play really, really fast here. Honestly, I could be a little picky on the situation and say that we should have given up this space a little bit sooner. Like, we came in here, which is okay. I would say this was a very telegraphed bang that he was gonna go for, but I'm not gonna get on this too much. What I do want to get on though is, first of all, we would have to, we need to understand that guy has a lot of boost, and therefore there's no real initiative for him not to go, right? Especially when we come into lower ranks, but I would say even in the higher ranks, throughout the ranks. If a player has more boost, they're going to be more likely to challenge. What I would have done is come in and try to angle this way, right? And you were talking about that backwards challenge. Let's say that he does decide to settle the ball instead of go. You could still back up into that. You could still zone that space. You could come forward this way and then come in. You could come in up connector and you can come this way. All from this one central position.
Where should I face in that position? So I should face the ball from that position?
We should be facing this way.
Yeah, okay. I was confused by the line. Okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes coming in here easy, because there's an option here. It makes coming up here easy in case he gets the ball up here. If he decides to settle it, we can back into the ball and still challenge in the corner, right? So we have a lot more options, but when you're facing this, all of these are kind of lost initially, and it makes them a little harder. And you can see this difficulty right here where you have to come up here instead of having this very clean path this way. And you can see, if this guy was a lot closer, maybe it's a little bit more difficult on you, right? So this is all about efficiency. We just want to put ourselves in a very central position where we can cover as many options as possible, and that's about it. That all make sense?
Yes, more efficient pathing.
Correct.
Basically, yeah. Perfect.
That guy should not have challenged.
I was thinking
that was a really bad challenge from that guy.
I was just trying to accelerate so I keep it a 1v1.
Yeah, that's important. There is a lot of back pressure. Why is this guy's name BJ? We're gonna call him B. But being in a situation, a lot of back pressure from him, so I don't disagree with us pushing the ball forward. It would have been a little bit risky to try to hit a cut, but ultimately you always want to try to hit the cut when you can, if you have the time to do so, because you're able to generate a lot more pressure with the ball on top of your car than like this. With this, it's you can generate pressure, of course. I would say especially against some of the lower rated players where some of them jump a little early, some of them panic a little early, so it's really easy to get a quick hook shot. But for some of the higher level players, maybe they play it a bit more patient, right? And they're going to have those reads a lot better than a lower rated player. So, but when you have the ball on top of your car, it instantly generates pressure, because flicking over them is a lot easier than just getting a hook sometimes. Exactly. But I do like this. Nice. That's good. Really good off-ball value immediately. This is okay. Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't need a Wavedash there.
Yeah, I actually, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, is doing wave dashes like this.
Sometimes I'm trying to fake jump because I throw on backboard, but it's just terrible. Because sometimes people have sound cues, But...
Yeah, yes, but that is too reliant on a player being unaware. You know what I mean? So if you were to do this, let's say a situation, you do something like this, and they're aware of you and they see you or they know that you're just doing it for fake, then it's completely irrelevant and just puts you at a disadvantage and not them.
You're right.
You know what I mean, because now you're like in the air or you're dodge locked, etc. You have to get to the ground and then you have to reposition rather than just being in a good position. The only way I tell people that they should do Wavedash is primarily if they need momentum. There has to be something in the play that is saying I need to Wavedash here, right? That's typically what I tell people. Because I've actually seen this Wavedash thing where people just kind of Wavedash. I've seen it hurt more players than I've seen it help because they use it in way too many situations and where it just doesn't make any sense.
Probably
like,
wall
no
dashes too, right? People I don't even know what a wall dash, but people are probably spam that too.
I actually don't see many people spam them. Before when it first came out, yeah, people were spamming that a lot just for fun. But I see people do it more in like short bursts. Well, they'll do like a wave dash, a wall dash instead of wall dash. Like the really quick ones. I feel like people use it just to get an initial burst of like movement now versus back in the day. It was just a flex. Honestly,
I remember AJ doing it.
Yeah.
He was crazy with it.
It was just flexing. This is actually not a bad decision. I disagree with the amount of air roll, but I like what we did there. I am big on air roll. I really typically dislike air roll. Like, I'm going to let you know. I'll tell you all of the good air roll in this and all of the bad.
Go savage.
Because I can break it all down. Right here, this is fine. I can understand this. Anything past this point, I don't understand it. Right? Anything past this point right now, I don't get it. But if you were to get all the way down and then do this, it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, I was trying to angle for the dunk. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Exactly.
But it was too much air roll at the end. I could see that now. It was unnecessary.
Yes. So this, I can understand this. That's cool. We get a little good touch on the ball. But like as soon as we go past this point, it's like we're already missing the option of going under the ball, right? So like because you air rolled like this instead of keeping straight, like if you kept straight, you could have tilted your car down a little bit and boosted under the ball and then pushed it up a little higher. You completely missed out on that because of this. Yeah. Because trying to do that on this area of the car is just so awkward. And there's a chance you hit wheels and then it just slows everything down and it's bad. So past this point, I don't like it. But if you would have done this motion at the end after playing straight, this makes sense. So this is justified. This is justified. All of this is not justified.
Yeah.
This is. That makes sense, right? So you need to understand you should only be air rolling if it is actually giving you a very specific advantage in this situation. Like there has to be intent with air roll, or else I can't look at the air roll and justify it, because often it's putting your momentum in a whole lot of different places. You're missing some angles on the ball because we're boosting in a certain direction where we shouldn't. We're so willing to disengage. You know what I mean? We saw this in the beginning of the game. I'm seeing it here. We're so willing to disengage so quickly.
I just don't respect. Right? I don't respect them. That's my problem at all. I'm just waiting for them to give me the ball, which I don't do in like when I'm closer to GC3. But here it's like I don't respect them. That's my problem.
See, here's the thing. That lack of respect is gonna kill you, though. It's gonna kill you, right? And I have to tell this to so many people. Honestly, one of the biggest downfalls is not respecting. And I saw this actually from Parth in my recent Shopify video. If you see it, I would say it's a lot better to respect someone who's going to do something than them not do something, and because you didn't respect it, then you get scored on because you didn't respect it, right? But at least if you respect it, it's like if they do end up doing it, you're ready for it, right? Versus I'm not going to respect it, and then they actually end up like clanging on you because it's like, oh wow, maybe I should have respected. I feel like that happens significantly more than not. But anyway, like just getting into the situation alone, this is the angle I'm playing versus this is the angle you're playing. Now, why is this the angle I'm playing? Let's go ahead and look at this again, right? First of all, we have to understand what options does that guy have, right? So in this situation, I'm already playing it slow facing because there's going to be a 50 for my teammate. In this situation, I see him here, but he can't really do anything in this situation. Even if he decided that he wanted to like hit the ball like super fast here, I'm going to be able to recover and get to the ball. So I'm still facing in this situation. and then I'm just challenging him right here. And then my teammate doesn't have to go for this challenge again, which is really, really big. I don't disagree with what your teammate's doing here because it makes sense based off of what you did.
Yeah.
And typically, if your teammate is up here and willing to turn, you should let them turn. But if you don't put your presence in the situation, your teammate's always going to do this. You know what I mean?
Which I wanted him to do. That was perfect. But yeah, I think you're right. Ideally, I probably should have been facing the play better and challenging.
Yeah. You know, we'll look at this distance, but it's like now that you're all the way back here facing, it's like you have zero follow-up on this situation at all. Yeah. Whereas if you were still somewhat zoning up here, you know, maybe we have a situation, and this is still going to be fine regardless. But
yeah, that's why I don't respect him. Look at that, stupidest play.
Yeah, no.
But it's gonna kill me as I get because I'm trying to get the SSL, and I'm not gonna get the SSL playing like that so passively.
Yeah, see, it works in these ranks. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, it works in these ranks. And then what I said about Parth, I said it was a very Plat stamped habit because that's where it starts. That's where this starts, you know, because a lot of people, when they're in Plat, they know people are going to miss. You know, they know people are going to miss. They just wait for it. And it usually works out. And then in Diamond, it still kind of works out. You know, you can just be like, you're not going to do shit with the ball. You know, you're not going to do anything. And then sometimes they don't, right? And then you start going higher. And then that starts getting less and less likely. And then you start getting to, like, I would say, even Champ 2, Champ 3 and above. It's like some players that you play against, they're not going to miss that. They may do something stupid, but they're probably not going to miss the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it goes up from there. So, which is why it's really important that I try to snip this earlier. I do like this. A little bit too much air roll, but I do like that. Really good bump. Pretty good finish by your teammate.
Yeah, it was good for him to be there.
Curious what this is.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess I try to predict, but it's dumb. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, when you go into a predetermined path like this, you have to be very confident. You have to be like pretty much 100% certain, or else like what if the ball like goes this way and this guy doesn't do your movement and he goes this way and you're facing this way. You know, you lose all of these options immediately by doing this. You can cover these fine, great, but this is completely lost, and it could put you in a situation where this guy comes in and you just literally aren't able to challenge him. You have to play a shadow initially, you know, because of you doing this. And you can see, like, if we were still playing like forward, you know, we could immediately like dodge this direction.
Yeah, it's easier for me too. You're right.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so you could immediately go this way, but you could also immediately go this way, and you could immediately go this way, right? So it's like you're covering significantly more. The only reason you should do something predetermined is if you're getting a comm from your teammate and you're gonna trust that comm and you're gonna play like a back left or something.
I might have. I usually comm need. I can check on the VOD, but I usually comm need boost, but I'm not sure if I did it there. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's like I said, really important. You want to give yourself as many options as you can, because sometimes some things in Rocket League, it's hard to kind of read where it's gonna go, especially with 50s. Right. You know?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
That Wavedash killed you.
Yeah, that was dumb. I don't know why.
See, we weren't even able to properly zone this position. Instead of like doing this, we could have just slowly pushed into this area, and then we could have been zoning it. And like, no matter what he does, we could have done that. But I feel like when we put ourselves here, we didn't cover as many options as we could.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is why we're gonna have to get out here. This is cool. Play this a little bit slow. No, it's a little too fast. We're not gonna get anything. I need to take this off too, because I don't want to be like hindsight bias or anything. But this is gonna be very, very difficult. So in this position, it's like, first of all, it's just very wishful. You know, I feel like it's really reliant on like the other team's just gonna be terrible, and therefore we're gonna get away with it. I agree. But I feel like we need to play this a bit more slow, because B is on the wall right now. I don't see this going well. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like now we've put ourselves in a disadvantage, and now we kind of lose the ball for a little bit. Our teammate is probably going to be able to get there before, but we had way more value we could have gotten out of this.
You're right.
How could we have gotten that value?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're completely right. You tell me. What other things could we have done here?
I think I could have done a better job of like slowing down here and letting the ball fall. I could have caught up the right nose of my car and let it roll up on the corner, and then done some kind of play off that, you know, create that roll.
What else?
I could have I mean, considering his position, I could have just hit low wall, and but my teammate wasn't really in position for that. That's interesting. Yeah, I would have honestly. I think that's the. I don't know of any other play. I just probably would have just got it, let it roll to the corner to the right side, and then just maybe done a ceiling or some kind of play off the wall or corner.
I have a question. Where is B's teammate right now?
Is honestly, I've kind of lost track with all the. He might be behind me. Probably.
Hey.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, he is. Oh, he's over there.
Yeah. He's. I actually did think he was behind you. I think he just passed over that way though.
Oh yeah, he's so far. He flipped all the way. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. This seems like a very back post oriented guy.
Yeah, he has the reliable rotator tag on.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of other players would have played more of like this path because it's a bit more aggressive. You can zone this area a bit better. It seems like he's just doing this by default, and then he kind of plays in. But that's still kind of irrelevant though to the point. But in this situation, we want to be aware of where he is because we could have back pressure from him, and we don't want that. But in this situation, there's a couple things. You could have done a light jump, popped the ball here, turned your car this way, caught the ball, been able to play an option. You could have done what you said, settle the ball, take it up corner, played off of corner, maybe even play through here.
Maybe get the
play bump option here.
Yep.
Yeah, you could play bump. You could try to play Doomsday Dish. Maybe this guy's a big problem in trying to play that option. You could play the touch here, settle it, come in this way. Try to play a flick or a high flick that could set your teammate up a little bit because this guy's not going to be able to deal with it immediately. You could just settle it, play in this way, try to play a 50. You're going to probably be advantageous because he's coming from up down, which means you probably are going to have a pretty good chance to be able to do something here. You could play the touch really heavy inwards and then just back up like this, and then you have like a lot of options. Like there's pretty much nothing that you can do. And then you could just play pacing in this. You can try and bait him in, and as soon as he gets baited in, you can just put the ball this way. There's like not shit he can do about it. This guy might get to it, which is cool, but you also have the option to play out this way behind that guy, which your teammate will eventually get to, and then you guys could maybe have another like offensive play. So there's like a gazillion different things.
That's so cool, bro. It's so cool. It's so cool how you go through the plays, bro. It's so cool, bro. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. There's a lot more things than you would imagine, and like that's why it's really important that like you try to see all of the different things that are possible, because we have a full boost here, so there's like it's kind of endless. So like when all we do is like kind of pop it up, it's like we gotta be looking at all of the different things. But what you suggested too is good. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't disagree with coming up here. It really depends on how much like this guy will definitely try and like get at you here. And if you're going against a higher level player and they're in this position with full boost, you're pretty guaranteed to get challenged as soon as you come off of here. So it's a bit tough. That's why I would much rather prefer most of these grounded options, because like ground wasn't covered immediately by this guy. So that would have been really good. But you can see we're put at like disadvantage here, and you kind of get out of it a little bit. I like that off-ball value look. It's pretty good. Nothing wrong with that. Nice. I like your positioning here. Notice that guy. This is okay. This is fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to go for the 50. I fucked up. Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that we can do. I'm curious, like, once again, like, what else do you think we can do here, like in this position?
Okay. Let's see. It depends on the positioning. So like he's honestly in a really good position because he's far enough to. He's close enough to play drop down. Because sometimes I just drop it and I back up and I go let it bounce and then catch it for like an interval or whatever. But he's also in a good position to like challenge high if I like play it off the wall here. So honestly, I think BJ's in a really good position what he's doing right now. So like when I see a player's in a really good position, I try to default to like just stay behind the ball in 50. So and flip to flip it past him. But he challenged horribly. Like what I did here was not good. I should not have been able to get past BJ with what I did. And yeah, I guess that's my thought process. Like I usually look at the first challenger, and if he can challenge reasonably well, I kind of abandon my solo play, and I just try to get a 50, basically.
Okay. In this situation, this is something that I do quite a bit. Like let's say there is a player here, I always go for the fake because players love. Like once they're in this position, faking is usually a good way to kind of take away that advantage. So, but what I love to do is I love to give space, and for some reason this just works against so many players.
Yeah.
This works up against SSLs as well because they'll immediately try to close the distance, but I'll literally turn in and I'll just smack the ball, and there's like nothing. They can't even react to it because the ball goes so quickly.
I love that.
This is all about timing, though. If you time it incorrectly, you're gonna let them get too close, and then they can get a touch on it. But if you bait them in a little bit, you know, create that like, hey, you know, I'm giving you some distance. Some players love to just close it, and then immediately you can just come in and either pop the ball straight down, and they're already fucked. There's not much they can do, or you can come in and just dodge the ball completely up and past them. It's really hard to react. Like they have to have godlike reaction speed in order to get to it. Or I come like up, and then I will reverse and come this way, and then I'll try to play it inwards like this, but it's all based off of how they move, which is why I tell many players, like, this is a golden position. This is one of the strongest positions in the game, I will say, because if you just sit here, it is really hard to get through this space here, you know, because if a player is sitting here with like full boost, even if you go up, like let's say they're down here, if you go in the air, they can go up this like go up wall onto ceiling and challenge you. They can go up wall and then challenge you. They could come back, drop down if you drop down, and they can still zone you. There's like this position is really good to be somewhat deceptive, right? But I feel like what you did really should not have worked, which is what you said. Yeah. He played this terribly.
He wasn't in a good position, then
he just executed very poorly. Many players in this position would absolutely be all over this ball immediately as soon as you did that. So there's those options. There's also other options which are like, okay, it really just depends where your teammate is. Like there is the option of just letting the ball completely roll down, and then you just kind of play this area. You're going to let the other team get into better positions if you do that. But at that point, it's just a skill diff. Like, are you able to just outplay them at that point? You know, how confident are you in your ability to outplay them when both of them are in good positions? Which I would say it's always good to be more confident than not, because that confidence is going to play into the execution of your decision, which is super important. But it's also going to let your teammate get into stronger positions, maybe provide some supportive options, you know, maybe be able to pad a bit longer. So there's drawbacks and benefits. You know, it's up to you to read the situation and say, you know, if your teammate's up here, maybe we play the fakes and deception here a little bit longer than we normally would, you know, because even if we get out here, we also have to beat another, and if we don't beat the other, you know, it's kind of
exactly.
So there's a lot of different things that can kind of come from that. I like this though. Trying to play 50. Teammate, it's pretty weird.
Another Wavedash, another weird Wavedash.
Ooh, we play situations like a little too passive sometimes. Like in this situation, instead of going like super deep in here, I'm probably zoning this a little bit, and I'm already going for the ball, right? But notice the difference in the pathing, right? Like, and what's telling me I'm able to do this is because I know there's like no immediate quick follow-up from B in this situation. Like, if B was like right here, maybe I'd play this with a higher inclination to turn off, but just turning off by default is not like a good option here, because this could go either way, right? So it's like I want to be ready for this, and like you can see, like I'm getting an easy beat on B in this situation, which would have been really good. But instead, like we're all the way back here passive, so you're like, if this is on net, you're guaranteed to use boost. You know what I mean? We're lucky there's a full boost here, but it's like we want to reduce the amount of boost we have to use, or at the very least, we want to get as much value out of the boost we have. Exactly. I feel like that value would have been better, you know, trying to play an offensive option than trying to play a passive one.
100%.
Too often are we, and it seems like whenever we get in these situations, we have this just general inclination, because I can feel your thoughts. It feels, and this happened in the exact same position over here, where you like really slow down here, and it just looked like you were trying to execute your mechanic, and we weren't fully accounting for the fact that this guy was here. I saw it a little bit here too, and I feel like I'm seeing it again, where it feels like our main priority is just executing or getting that touch, and then like if that guy was better, you're getting dunked here. Like 100%. Like, what would I have rather seen is the question here. What I would have rather saw is a little bit of like more hesitation here. Like more trying to be deceptive, more not just trying to go off. Like maybe we get up here and we slow a lot more than necessary. Maybe we're still slowing and the ball hasn't even come off the wall yet, right? And maybe that guy jumps prematurely and then we have other options because he did that. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
We really want to try and fake this guy out because I'm not gonna lie, like you've gotten away with this multiple times just because of the incompetency of the player in these positions. But
that's why I want to
would
show this replay.
you would never get away with this against a higher level player. They are going to be on that immediately because you have to understand, like a lot of players in the higher ranks use the wall or they go in the air a lot. So other players also are very used to players doing that. You know what I mean? So there has to be some amount of outplay that you're trying to do when you get in these situations, or some amount of deception that I can see we're trying to go for. But I'm just seeing a little bit of a lack of that, you know, in some of these situations where
100%.
I feel like it could be a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
It's not bad. I would have much preferred that we played some of the space we had here. Maybe you just thought he was going to come in at 50. But there was no real...
I don't know.
I don't know. There was no real inclination. It didn't really seem like he was gonna come in there, but I could see how you could like think otherwise. But this type of move, like against any good player, they're gonna take the ball and like, you know, they may have been able to take the ball, gotten a good touch, and already been pre-dodging towards that boost. You know what I mean? Like the ability of players to recover in the higher ranks is incredible. Truly, I will say that. That's really unfortunate.
Should be a goal.
Unfortunate. We positioned pretty well there. We just weren't able to execute like we wanted to, which is okay. Yeah, just let our teammate come in there. Nice. This is okay.
That's a bump play.
Kind of,
that could be a bump play, right? Yeah, let's see.
I was kind of wary about this. Typically, like in this situation, honestly, I wouldn't have looked to go slow here. I just would have banged the ball at the net. The reason I would have done that is because it guarantees field progression, and I could have saved like a lot of boost. So like I feel like a lot of like, I'm not gonna say it's necessarily wrong to go in the air here. Like that's definitely a viable option for sure, but I feel like I would have preferred to us just smack the ball, especially because I see this guy's positioning, right? So like in the moment, like when we're coming into this, like as soon as this comes out and I see that guy down there, I'm already smacking the ball. I'm smacking the ball straight at the net because it's going to force this guy to make a decision. Is he going to grab this full boost, or is he going to grab maybe a pad or two because he has to get to the ball? You know what I mean?
Would you smack it
like, is he going to try and risk it? Either one. It doesn't really matter. It's always preferential to put it like, I would say on net, but backboard is not terrible either because that adds once again more variables that he has to read. I feel like in the lower ranks it's really good, and I feel like in the higher ranks it can also be really good. I feel like it's pretty viable pretty consistently because you're forcing them to make a decision and you're also forcing them to use resources, and that also allows your teammate to come up and like take positions on the field, especially if your teammate's better. If you bang this, your teammate's literally already going to be coming in and trying to find something out of it, especially if they have full boost.
Yeah.
So that's really good. But you know, the airplay is fine, but what you're going to see is that this guy is going to easily be able to grab boost, and this guy is going to be easily able to come in and like actually try and find resources. You see the amount of time, it's like, and it's like if these players play this better, it's like we can see like BJ in the situation. Yeah, like he didn't even consider like doing anything else but just driving here, and then he's just completely naked, right?
Yeah.
But that's completely on incompetence in this situation, and then we'll look at it from this guy. This guy also, he jumps.
Well, there was a bump. There was a bump threat, right?
There was a bump threat, but that's it's like in this situation, if I saw like a player doing this, my first thing that I'm doing is I'm literally just gonna back up and I'm probably avoiding him, and then I'm just gonna go forward and jump. This guy was way too easily influenced by this guy. Like, he was like scared shitless of him.
Traffic.
What the?
I thought you were making some insinuation or something.
That is really interesting.
Oh, that's the boost. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
thought you
it's
put that
the
there.
boost.
Oh,
No.
that's fine.
I don't carry traffic cone stickers on me at all times. This is a quite interesting 3D animated.
That's how they felt
Anyway,
like as defenders, traffic cones, you know.
yeah. This guy, he was way too scared. His aerial car control is terrible. He jumped up awful, executed it
it looks
terribly. He's
terrible.
jumping for him, and then he's all of a sudden trying to cover backboard. It was just
1600 by the
very
way,
bad.
2025.
Yeah.
Sad state.
God. Yeah, I remember when 1600 was like actually pretty decent. That was quite.
I was 1600 in
long time.
2019, 2018. It was. I felt like it was even better, honestly, than now. I say that in Reddit, like, dude, no, everyone gets better over time. Like, I don't agree with that. But okay.
Yeah, some people they just be struggling. That's pretty good. I like that. I remember back in the day where like 2500 was like that was high. That's around where I would like be in twos, but I never really played the game.
Wow.
I played more ones than anything back then, I would say, actually.
Nice. I could tell. That's a lot of game sense. Let's see.
Yeah, like my peak in ones was like 15 or 1600 or something.
Bro. Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, yeah, it was back in the day. Ones was played a lot different than it is now. Ones is a lot more difficult than back in the day, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean this is all fun so far.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can show you a much worse
Yeah.
replay, or so here. I know we're already an hour and a half in, but like, what do you want to do? You want to do the SSL, the Pro? You want to see a bad game from me? I have a bad game I can show you.
That's completely up to you. You let me know which one.
I mean, do you think
which one
that game
wanna
was
do.
representative of like how I actually play, or like you think it was just bad defense? And I can probably show you. A better game.
No, I think it's very representative. That passive stuff you can see it reoccurred quite frequently in the game in
Okay,
multiple
perfect.
different situations, which is exactly when I tell people like there's a fundamental error here, like that passive stuff, you like it's not going to completely go away just game to game. You know what I mean? I feel like we're just playing way too passive and we miss out on a lot of opportunities, and I feel like that's really going to hurt you. Like when we start to go up the ranks. Because you have to be willing to take some of those plays. You have to be willing to put yourself in some of these quote unquote riskier, some of these situations that I was talking to aren't even inherently risky that you would have put yourself in them. You just didn't put yourself in them, right?
Yeah.
We just chose to be passive rather than being kind of neutral. I feel like you should treat most situations as neutral until you see the variables. And then it's like, oh, okay. If that guy gets this, that might be like really, really risky. So maybe I play a bit more passive. Or you see it and you're like, my teammate has a lot of control here. I can play kind of neutrally in this position. I don't have to go back immediately, But if this happens, then that's what I'm gonna do. I feel like that should be the thought process overall. It shouldn't be, oh, I'm just gonna play more passive, or I'm just gonna play passive here.
I think what happens, like, here's my thought process. So I think I have a few fundamental like principles in Rocket League in twos, not threes, where I genuinely think 50s are bad. Like I just have that thought, especially committal 50s. Like if I can do a single jump 50, control it to my teammate or the corner, that's good. But like if I'm like, I try to reduce the margin of error. So like there's times where like I'll cut in and I'll challenge or try to play fast, and I'm beat to the ball, and now I'm committed on their side. My teammates not recovering fast, and it's a goal for them. And those really stick out of my mind. Those moments where I try to play fast and I'm beat anyways. I feel like I'm not very good at those like split second decisions. So I try to slow the game down and like take the ball to my corner, and now I can start to try to make a play. But yeah, I think that's my problem is I don't trust myself to make those split second decisions where like, oh, I can cut in here and I can go for the beat, hit the ball at the sidewall, make it a 1v1. Like I'm not good at accelerating the ball. I'm not good at going fast slow. I'm good at going slow, and then whatever, faking or whatever I do, bump. Yeah.
Okay, I look at it in a couple of different ways. If you're bad at it, you should do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
That's the way I look at it, because if you're bad at it and you don't do it, you're not really gonna get better at it. Because you're not putting yourself inside those variables to be able to execute any other way. Because you can't execute because you're choosing not to, because the perception that you have of the situation. So the way I look at everything is, and this is what I do all the time in my life in everything. If I'm bad at something, I'm going to do it, because I'm bad at it, and I don't want to be bad at it, and therefore I need to do it. Unfortunately, sometimes you're going to take the trade-off on where you're going to lose sometimes. But losing is okay. Failure is okay. Failure is really good, actually. I think failure is just as good as winning.
You're right.
There's stuff to be learned regardless. And then also, I feel like maybe we're making a little bit of a hasty generalization of 50s. I feel like just because some situations in twos, because I do agree with you somewhat, where I feel like 50s can be very bad in twos, but in certain situations. But I wouldn't go to say that 50s are bad in twos. I would say 50s can be really bad in twos in certain situations, whereas in threes or ones, they're not as bad. So, for example, a very common situation, I see this all the time. There's one player, maybe he's facing this way, on blue team. Actually, let's say that he's facing forward, right? And there's a person with the ball right here. He plays a 50, but that person with the ball also has a support teammate. This can usually end up in a goal, especially if your teammate is like not back yet. If you play a 50 here and it like pops out either way, it's very easy for that support player to just get a goal, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're dodge locked. So in this regard, yes, 50s are bad in this situation, but I think 50s can be good in twos because you only have one other player, and having that follow up from that other player, like pacing the game so that you can have that other player come in and be able to follow up, is really important. So sometimes it's really good to play like 50s and twos, and then sometimes it would be much rather that you just don't even play the 50 and you just drive into the ball and hope it pops up somewhere and wastes enough time for your teammate to get back, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that is a better way to look at it, because I feel like when we say like 50s are bad in twos, we'll be more prone to avoiding them in situations where they're actually not bad. You know what I mean? I feel like it's more important to identify what variables would make a 50 bad in twos, instead of just saying like 50 and bad is bad in twos. I feel like we'll be able to attack situations a lot better, and that would be really good. But just be confident in yourself, dude.
My key takeaways, I mean, obviously, play more dynamically, right? Like, as in, choose to be aggressive or passive. I'm just gonna go over it myself and let me know if I'm missing anything. I would say, just in general, like on a more macro level, don't go into a game with like a default play style. Whether it's like passive or ball chasing, you should just play each situation for what it is. Like each situation demands its own pace of play, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. And then let's see what else. Also, I should play around with like timing and fakes more. I try to do that. I feel like I didn't do a great job that game, but I do think it's important. Just add more fakes into my game, mess with the timing, and pay more attention to like just how they're challenging, how they're stacking the challenge, because they were like, again, like you said. I mean, in that game, it was more about, and I knew this. I knew when I was sending it to you that the defense was incompetent. But you did tell me to send my best game, so I did send my best game of the day, I think, or second best game. But yeah, I do think there are at least 2 solo plays where I just didn't time it well. I didn't add any complexity to the play, and if the defender was competent, I would have gotten hard dunked and instant pressure on my team. So I think in that situation, or in no situation, I should add some more complexity to the play, fakes, posturing, better touches in general too. So less wave dashes as well. Like stop getting locked. Stop getting locked in animations. Like just drive, bro. Just drive.
Yes. Yeah, no, that covers pretty much everything. I think you took a lot of good takeaways from this. I think those are the main things that are going to help build a really strong foundation. Going too deep into anything else is kind of redundant, because by you doing the things that you just told me, you're going to be able to build all of those other things easily off of that foundation that you build for yourself.
Sick,
so
bro.
That was really good. No problems with any of that. The biggest tips I have for anyone that is lower rank: question everything. Don't ever be complacent. Don't ever think, hey, I'm really good at this and this. Question it further. Question everything. I think if you stay questioning your gameplay, you will always find new things that you could be doing better. Maybe you find the things that you're doing good aren't as good, and you could be doing something else, or maybe you could be doing what's already good but in a better, more efficient way. I think that is really, really important. Be confident in yourself.